Introducing Chat and Chew's Healthimonials. Join us in opening the gift of health.
We are thrilled to have Dorothy and Ken with us today because we're going to hear about a real healthimonial. Ken has made tremendous gains just by changing the foods on his plate. And so we're going to find out about that today. So Dorothy, you want to introduce yourself, and Ken, you too, tell them who you are.
Well, my name is Dorothy Lemmy. I'm from Ohio, but now I live in Florida. I was a nursing instructor, and that's about it.
Okay.
All right, I'm Ken Schmidt. I was, my first career, I was an electrical engineer, worked for a power company, and my second career, I taught computer science at a community college. And I'm not having a third career.
And we're both 72.
Yes, both of us are 72.
Great. Oh my gosh. So many resources you bring. Well, we're excited because they're also volunteers for Chat and Chew, and they give so much to us, including including what happened with Ken and his health. And so we're going to find out a little bit. So first of all, Ken, you had some major changes. Can you just review some of those changes for us?
Yes, maybe 5 years ago or so, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And Dorothy and I were in the Winter Haven Library, and we picked up a brochure that talked about Chat and Chew. So, no, let's try that and see what that's all about. We didn't know anything about that. And we started attending and learning a lot. And we went to a cooking class. We learned how to make vegan mayonnaise and some type of
mock tuna.
What was it?
It was a mock tuna dish. You used
Mock
Yes, tuna.
Yes. I asked the instructor at the end of the class, I already don't eat beef and pork and I haven't since 1976 because my dad died in 1976 and my uncle died about 4 years before that. And my dad was age 50, my uncle was age 46, and I read that red meat could have something to do with that. So I hadn't eaten beef or pork since then. So I said, well, what should I do next? And she rattled off a list of about 12 things that I should do. I thought, no, just one. And so she said, read this book. It was called The Cheese Trap. So I read The Cheese Trap and found out that cheese, one of the proteins in cheese, milk solids, is casein, which is a cell growth promoter, because the whole purpose of milk is to take the baby cow and turn it into a great big cow quickly, because the predators go after the babies, they don't go after the big cows, and that makes their species more survivable if they can get past the stage when they're vulnerable to predators. So I thought, this is a cell growth promoter, and I'm eating this stuff, and prostate and cancer of any type is fast growing cells. This does not compute. So I thought, well, we should give up dairy. And we pretty much came to a screeching halt with dairy, except for things that we didn't know was there. Like I was putting ranch dressing on a salad, and I thought, this is white. I wonder if there's milk in it. And I looked, and sure enough, there was milk in it. And so thought, well, okay, we got to stop eating ranch dressing. Although I've since made my fourth and fifth attempt at making good ranch dressing substitute have been very successful, and we like both of those recipes. And so fourth recipe was for taste. The fifth one was to reduce fat content. So that's mostly what we've done. And after that, maybe, I don't know how long after that did we?
Maybe a year.
A year after that, we gave up
All meat.
All meat. We gave up turkey and chicken, which was pretty much what was left.
And
And
you were telling me earlier that that's sort of related to what what you did kind of related to what Brian Hart told us about how to help men get off meat. Specifically, how did you give up meat?
well, we started out with Meatless Monday, which of course meant we had meatless Tuesday or Wednesday also because there were leftovers. We always make too much and we always have leftovers. So Meatless Monday turned in to be 2 days a week. And then we said, well, let's do it another day. And pretty soon we were having Meat Full Monday and all the rest of the days had no meat. And then we said, no, let's just give it up altogether. And so we don't eat chicken or turkey anymore.
Or dairy.
Or dairy of any kind. And we now read labels to make sure there's no casein or sodium caseinate, as it's often called when you read the fine printed long ingredient list on some things. We try not to. We tried to do mostly home cooked things anyway. So like we're making our own ranch dressing and we make our own hummus and burgers, bean burgers, things like that. So there, we know what's in them.
Well, you've come a long way. I mean, you're reading labels now and you're really watching to make sure you don't have dairy, and you've given up the meat and the beef and the chicken, excuse me. Tell me this, what kind of results did you get?
Oh, without trying, I've been spending my whole life trying to lose weight. I go on a diet, I lose whatever amount of weight I decided I want to lose. I say, okay, I'm done. I can go back to the way I was, and I would gain everything back plus a little bit more. This time, I was not trying to lose weight. I was trying to be healthy, and I lost 90 pounds without trying. And I've since gained back about 15, and I'm just kind of staying there. I'm not gaining or losing anymore. So I'm learning how to eat vegan and keeping the weight off and not trying to keep it off. It just happened.
Cholesterol.
And oh yes, and I was on cholesterol meds to control that, and I just got back my blood test recently. The total cholesterol is 191 without meds. Without meds. I was on high blood pressure pills, and I'm no longer on that. My blood pressure is normal. And I was on GERD meds. I had acid reflux, and I'm no longer on those meds. I take more vitamins. I mean, my doctor says vitamin B12, you have to have that. So I'm doing that, and I'm taking lots of vitamins and calcium and things like that because I'm getting to the age where you lose calcium. Although we eat a ton of spinach, and spinach has lots of calcium in there, but we also take calcium pills too. And
you do a lot of walking to keep those bones strong, like Dr. Clapper taught us.
Right. Yeah, we walk 2
But the most dramatic thing, I mean, all those things are dramatic, but the most dramatic thing is what happened with your prostate cancer.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, you're right. That is the most important thing. So I was only off of dairy for 6 months. And I went back to my urologist, who wanted to do another biopsy because I had a high PSA level. So he did a biopsy, found cancer. He divides the prostate into 12 little pieces and takes samples in each of those 1/12ths. And he found it in one of the 1/12th pieces of it. 6 months after I got off of dairy, he did a resample of all 12 pieces, plus he did about 5 extra samples in that 1/12th area, just to make sure that if it's still there, he was actually not trying to see if it was still there. He was trying to see how fast it had expanded. And he says, I can't find it. And I said to him, well, could my changing my diet have had anything to do with this? I'm no longer eating dairy. And he said, nah, that has nothing to do with it. And so a year after that, I had another biopsy. He said, I still can't find it. And the year after that, I had another biopsy. Said, I still can't find it. So 3 of them in a row. And I was supposed to have one this summer, but we are sheltering in place in Florida instead of going back to Ohio. Although we're Florida residents, we still have a home up there, and we had been spending the summers up there. So I was supposed to get a biopsy, but I just got my PSA level, and it's 3.7, and it had been up to 8 or something when they found this.
I remember you told Dr. Barnard that, because hey, let me put the picture up of Dr. Barnard listening to you as you told him the story. And remember he said, that confirms, that's an example of what Dr. Ornish found back in the 1990s, where he did studies with men and put them in 2 groups, one that ate their regular diet and one that ate plant-based. And same thing happened. Their PSA went down and they didn't have to be treated. And these people were like you, they already had prostate cancer, but as you had learned, they do the wait and see if it's not severe. And then some of the others had to drop out of the study because they had to have surgery because it had grown so much. So you were a shining example to Dr. Barnard, and he was really excited about that. He reminded us that, Ken, I hope you did this with your doctor. He said you should be charging your doctor for what you're teaching. Did you submit your bill?
No, I didn't. I think he would probably just ignore it.
So Dorothy, have we said everything? Because you're the one that remembers this journey very well too. Are those are the main things that you've noticed with Ken's health and change? Anything you want to add to that?
Well, I because I did the same diet as he did, I lost 20 pounds and I really wasn't trying. And I was normal weight anyway, but I lost 20 pounds. So that was the effect on me. But yes, and he is doing much better. He eats so much better since he's met you. It's amazing to me.
So I told 2 people at church. One, he's older than I am, and he gave up dairy, and he lost 20 pounds without trying. He told me it really works. That was John. So,
that's precious. Yeah, it really does work, and it is amazing when you're building health that you get some side effects.
I went from a 52 waist to a 44 waist.
Yeah. If we want other men to be able to have this opportunity, Brian Hart gave us some key points that you might want to keep in mind as a man begins to take those changes. And let's see if I can find that list. Yes, here we go. One thing was a time frame, and you talked about that. Rather than from now on, you worked into it with the Meatless Monday.
Right, and then Meatful Monday after
and
that.
then it ended up being that, yeah. And you definitely had a purpose. You wanted to get that cancer to go away. So that
Right.
was,
Yeah, I didn't want to be sick.
and I guess that leads into another thing that Brian talked about, autonomy. Men want to feel like they're taking care of themselves. Did you feel some of those things as you went into this too, and as you changed?
Yeah, I'm that way. Self-sufficient, autonomous. I like to be like that, and so I've taken control of my life by changing my diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
And he's a good cook too.
And that's probably one of the most exciting things is that Brian said was about community matters. You had the community of Chat and Chew to help give you some resources so you could make those decisions. But more importantly, you had Dorothy.
Of course.
Yeah.
You had a partner in crime. And you two have really enjoyed the cooking part of it, haven't you?
Yes, we certainly have. Especially during this isolation. That's the main thing we do is cook a lot.
That's right. Cook and walk. and Zoom.
And Zoom.
So you find your community, you find your diet, you find your exercise, and you've definitely got a purpose, because not only do you take care of yourselves, but could you just tell briefly what you're doing now during COVID-19 isolation to help others as well? That was with the church.
Cooking and walking.
Yeah, and to help others. Because there's so many people who have now gotten laid off, plus there are a lot of poor people to begin with. Our church started a food pantry, and we deliver. And we do that because there are some people who either don't have a car or don't have gas to put in the car, and they can't get to the United Way or Catholic Charities pickup points. So we deliver food to people, and that is so rewarding to know that we're helping people who couldn't otherwise get fresh vegetables. They couldn't get anything. And we've gotten connected with Feeding America, the branch called Feeding Tampa Bay. It took them about 3 or 4 months before they started delivering food to us. They had to check us out, I guess, to make sure we really were a food pantry. And we were just depending on donations. We're taking peanut butter and
Beans and rice
and spaghetti sauce and spaghetti noodles and things like that to people. And now we have big trays of fresh vegetables and unfortunately meat too. But when you're hungry and you need something. So Feeding America is really helping us.
That's
and
fantastic.
it's very rewarding.
And that's really what we learned from Dan Buettner, the National Geographic Explorer. The things that help people live a long time and live healthfully is the plant-based diet, constant moderate activity. You guys are obviously constantly active and moving and walking and doing things, and that purpose in life where we're doing things beyond ourselves and that social connectedness. So you're a perfect example for Dan. He should meet you too, not just Dr. Barnard. Okay, so now we've got something really exciting. I'm going to put up the picture from the cooking class, and this is back when Ken started. And Ken, what year was that? Wasn't that 2018, I think? Yeah.
No,
So
that'd be 17 at the
17?
earliest.
Okay. And then, yes, that's right, because Dr. Barnard Skyped with us in 2018 in February. So this was your start back in 2017, and look where you are today. I mean, what a distance you've come. And that was when you were learning how to make the tofu mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And even when we looked back at the picture of you in front of Dr. Barnard, you still had more weight to lose. I don't know if you can show us your physique or if we should here, but maybe you could stand up and show us that you look a lot different today. Oh my gosh, look at that. Excellent, super. Yay, Ken, and yay, Dorothy, for all the support and your 20 pounds. That is fantastic. So now, Ken, tell us what we've got coming up next. And that's going to be this cooking show, isn't it, that you've got put together?
Yes. We have learned how to, we've gotten an Instant Pot because you can cook it all in one pot. You can saute and you can pressure cook. And so we're making a lot more things in that now. And we have a upcoming show which you will see shortly, about making pinto bean soup, which is one of our favorite soups. It is absolutely delicious. And it's all made from dry beans, not canned beans, because you can easily cook with this pressure cooker Instant Pot. And dry beans, you don't have to cook them overnight or soak them overnight. You just put them in, you take them out straight out of the bag, put them in the pot, and add some vegetable broth and some spices, and put the lid on, hit start, and in an hour, about an hour and 10 minutes, you have nice hot soup, and then we blend it up. And so you'll see how we do that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dorothy, and thank you, Ken, for sharing your story and sharing some of your wonderful recipes. And we'll check on you shortly as you get in the kitchen together.
And thank you for saving Ken's life.
Yes, you changed my life, Kathy, with Chat and Chew.
Well, Chat and Chew gave you some resources and you put them to great use. So let's get started on the next section, the cooking show from Ken and Dorothy.
I'm Ken Schmidt. I'm host of today's program, Vegan Cooking, with our celebrity chef, Dorothy Lemmy. So, what are we cooking today, Dorothy?
We're cooking pinto bean soup.
Oh, so what's the first step?
We're using our Instapot here, and right now I'm sauteing. And we always cut our onions ahead of time. Put them in when it's sizzling. And I like to make sure they're caramelized before we do the rest.
How much is in there?
About one large.
Okay. So about how long does it take for that to saute?
About 5-7 minutes.
Okay, we'll be back when it's finished sauteing. Okay, so it's been about 7 minutes. Let's see what it looks like.
Now,
So the next step is
tell her what spices.
you're putting in some spices, and you're putting in some oregano and chili powder and cumin. And I noticed you put it in dry.
And garlic.
And here's some garlic also, garlic, of course. And you put it in dry without the vegetable broth. Why did you do that?
That mixes and brings out the flavor of the seasoning. I forgot the word you used.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
It's much better to cook them.
And how long do you cook the seasoning?
About a minute.
About a minute, okay.
So
And after you finish with that, then what's the next step?
the broth. We make our own broth.
Yeah,
Our
I see.
own vegetable broth.
That's not boxes of broth. That looks like homemade broth. So how do you make the broth?
We take any scraps we cut up, say onions, potatoes, carrots, zucchini, any kind of scraps we save, and we boil them for hours. And then we strain it into our jars. And I use bouillon, 2 bouillons.
Vegetable bouillon cubes?
Yeah, vegetable bouillon.
Okay. And then what's next?
Bay leaves.
Bay leaves, okay. How many of those do we put in?
We put in 5. Okay.
Okay, and then?
And then 2.5 cups of pinto beans, dry.
Looks like you're giving that a good stir.
Yep. And then turn off the cooker, the pressure cooker.
You put the lid on
And then pressure cook for an hour.
so how long does it take to heat up before it starts pressure cooking?
Probably 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. So 10 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes total time.
And then we gotta put these away.
Okay, you're gonna put some beans away. Let's go see where you're gonna put that.
And this is our pantry because we have a small kitchen. So we had to organize our pantry.
Oh, it's all sorts of beans. Garbanzos, navy, kidney beans, all sorts, and pintos, yellow, green, brown pintos, all sorts of beans down there. And lots of canned goods and lots of flour, cornmeal, regular flour, whole wheat flour, garbanzo flour, teff flour, all sorts of containers there. And then we have a door full of spices. And what do you do with frequently used spices?
We put them over here in this little metal drawer.
Looks like we have labels on the front, and you can pull it out and see the spices that are in there. Okay, and what are you doing now?
I'm taking out the last bay leaf. And then we have to use our immersion blender.
Immersion blender right here. Take a look at that. Okay, go ahead.
Just one look.
Oh, blending it up nicely. Breaking the bulb beans.
And the garlic.
And the garlic, yes.
This is my favorite soup. Then it says salt to taste. So Ken's going to taste it and see if we need more salt.
And then we have to put it in some bowls and try it out.
Yeah, with some avocado as a topping. Okay, Ken's trying it out.
Absolutely delicious. My favorite soup.